On NTA News 24 live from our studios here in Abuja. I am Ifoma Ojinta. Thanks for joining us. And now the headlines. Federal government seeks more funds to tackle insecurity in supplementary budget. Still in the spirit of Easter celebration, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo asked Nigerians to remain resilient in face of daunting challenges. And Edo State Governor receives touch of unity for Edo 2020 National Sports Festival ahead of the official festival opening tomorrow.
More than ever before in our history, we need to come together at this time.
And now the news in details. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, says that President Muhammadu Buhari will later this month submit a supplementary budget to the National Assembly to request for more funds to tackle insecurity across parts of the country. Lawal, while speaking to journalists in his hometown, Gashua, said the National Assembly will stop at nothing to ensure that normalcy and security is restored to states faced by challenges of kidnapping, insurgency, banditry, and militancy. The President of the Senate says President Buhari and the National Assembly will be working to provide more resources in the supplementary budget to enhance the fight against insecurity in the country. Nigeria is continuing the process of administering roughly 4 million doses of the Oxford-AstraZeneca vaccine, beginning with our frontline health workers and vulnerable individuals. There has been no change to current plans or supply. A statement by Head of Public Relations of the agency, Mohammed Ohitoto, said many countries around the world are administering the Oxford-AstraZeneca vaccine, including substantial parts of Europe and United Kingdom, which have administered the highest doses of AstraZeneca globally. The statement said the World Health Organization, British and European health regulators continue to advocate the use of AstraZeneca. It stated that AstraZeneca's strong effectiveness against COVID-19 has been demonstrated in clinical and human trials to be 76% effective at preventing COVID-19 and 100% effective at preventing severe disease and hospitalization. Nigeria's health authorities followed closely recent pronouncements from Europe's regulator, the EMA. The head of the EMA stated that, according to scientific knowledge, there is no evidence to support restricting the use of the vaccine in any population. The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency said its priority is to ensure health and safety of Nigerians, adding that it is confident in AstraZeneca's ability to save lives. And today is Easter Monday, and Nigerians are still in the euphoria of the Easter holiday declared by the federal government to mark the Easter celebration. In the spirit of the season, Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo wants Nigerians to strengthen their faith in God and His power, believing it will be well with the country, Nigeria. The Vice President said this at the Easter and Thanksgiving service held at the Aso Villa Chapel in Abuja. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Now, when Jesus was raised
in the sermon, which centers on believing and having trust in Christ, chaplain of Aso Villa Chapel, Oluwaseyi Malomo, made references to how those who are close to Christ still had doubt in his resurrection, despite being beforehand told of what was to come after the trial.
I said Nigeria is following the script of God. Whether they like it or not, Jesus rose up from the dead. Whether the devil likes it or not, Nigeria will rise up. You will rise up. Your family will rise up. Your vision will rise up. Our lives will rise up.
In his message to Nigerians, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the message of resurrection is for all who believed to partake in the promises of God for an eternal peace and joy.
So today is a day of great joy because we celebrate the evidence of the plan of God. We celebrate, so God has given us a receipt of our salvation, and it's really exciting. So I just want to thank God for our nation and pray that our nation will experience the grace and mercy of God in so many different ways, that we're expecting His grace and mercy. All will be well.
Secretary to Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, and wife, Yemisi, joined the Vice President in the Easter and Thanksgiving service.
The miracle that happened in the life of Jesus is bound to happen to this nation. So Nigeria would arise again. Individually, we would arise. So my message to Nigerians is a message of hope, urging us to be patient and to love one another and to follow in the precepts and footsteps of Jesus.
There were prayers for the country and its leadership. From the Aso Villa Chapel, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Pope Francis has condemned armed conflicts around the world, urging fraternal and constructive dialogue as a panacea to conflicts. The Pope stated this in his annual Easter message at the St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican City in a scaled-back event due to COVID-19 precautions. Abdusalam Jubril reports.
Head of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis, in his annual Easter message at the St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican City, appealed to world leaders to curb the race for new weapons and called for peace in Africa, urging reconciliation in conflict areas.
May the power of the risen Lord sustain the peoples of Africa who see their future compromised by internal violence and international terrorism, especially in the Sahel and Nigeria, as well as in the Tigray region and Cabo Delgado region. May the efforts to resolve conflicts peacefully continue in respect for human rights and the sacredness of life through fraternal and constructive dialogue in a spirit of reconciliation and true solidarity.
Pope Francis had a word for world leaders on the need for equitable distribution of COVID-19 vaccines, particularly to poorer countries.
In a spirit of the fact that the vaccine should be international, in a spirit of global responsibility to commit to overcoming delays in the distribution of vaccines and to facilitate their distribution, especially in the poorest countries.
The Pope also maintains that the risen Christ gives hope and comfort for those suffering from the pandemic, praying that the Lord sustain the valiant efforts of doctors and nurses. In Abuja, Abdusalam Jubril, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Inter-Party Advisory Council is re-emphasizing the need for peace and unity. Leveraging on this year's Easter celebration, the Council calls on sowers of seeds of discord to always think Nigeria first in their dealings. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The need for Christians to demonstrate the attributes of Jesus Christ, which are epitomized in love for mankind, forgiveness and discipline, has been described by many as a possible solution to some of the nation's challenges. IPAC is therefore urging faithful to emulate Christ by tolerating and showing love, kindness and render help to one another during the Easter season and after.
Government should forbid and also warn and prosecute individuals inflaming the polity with their speeches, whether it is hate or otherwise.
Political elites are reminded that the Easter period calls for sober reflection on God's love for mankind and how this can reflect in one's relationship with fellow human beings to make the world a better place. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Likewise, Plateau State Governor Simon Bakol Along and Chairman of Northern State Governors Forum has urged Nigerians to put aside differences of faith, ethnicity and political affiliations in order to forge a common front in defeating various forms of criminal activities that continue to pose serious threats to the nation. Governor Lalong, in a message of felicitation, said, "There is every reason for Nigerians to appreciate God for his mercies over the nation throughout the difficult period of lockdowns and other disruptions occasioned by the coronavirus pandemic." On COVID-19, Governor Lalong appealed to the people of Plateau State to work assiduously towards overcoming the pandemic by availing themselves to be vaccinated and also observing all laid-down protocols. He called on Christians to continue to demonstrate the love of God to one another and people of other faiths, and let the fight of God manifest in all their activities in order to drive the desired change in the nation. And away from the Easter stories, the Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's largest television network, has continued to maintain its dominance in the continent's broadcast industry as President of the Senate, Ahmed Ibrahim Lawal, inaugurates NTA Gashua station. Yunusa Suleiman reports that at the inauguration ceremony of the digital station, the President of the Senate pledges to facilitate the procurement of 2 utility vehicles and an OB van for effective service delivery to the benefiting communities.
With the cutting of that ribbon by the President of the Senate, Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, flanked by the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, and other dignitaries, NTA Gashua is formally inaugurated to commence transmission. The inauguration of the station is a historic moment in the history of the ancient town of Gashua and the entire Yobe North Senatorial District, as the station finally comes on air 21 years after the idea for its establishment was conceived. With state-of-the-art digital equipment, NTA Gashua now transmits on channel 33 UHF from the 2.5 kilowatts digital transmitter, which has the capacity to radiate signal up to 150 kilometers radius.
The NTA, of course, here will provide the opportunity for the people to have their responses, their reactions, and their feedbacks on the various projects, the various programs of the federal government and even the state government.
I stand here today and boldly call on the Yobe State government, the Badi local government authorities, and the entire Gashua community to take possession of what rightly belongs to you. Take possession, protect it, and guard it jealously.
The medium is expected to initiate local programs aimed at informing, educating, and entertaining hundreds of viewers within its area of coverage. The DG NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, anchors the first official live discussion program that featured President of the Senate, where issues on how the station can impact positively on the lives of people in the area took center stage. From Gashua, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Now, a man who makes use of force in everything is afraid of reasoning, so do not try harder when a woman says no. This was part of the submissions of key players at the launch of Roost Foundation in Abuja. Adebola Brookslane Sunday reports that the foundation is out to fight human trafficking and other criminal tendencies in Nigeria.
This convergence is to assist the former NAPTIP boss, Julie Oka-Donley, as she floats a non-governmental organization that will support government agencies with the mandate of fighting human trafficking in Nigeria and the world at large. Julie Oka-Donley told the gathering that her passion for human rights has been her driving force as she urged all and sundry to be more vigilant.
Because of the lockdown, we're able to identify the monsters that were within. Shine your eye well. A lot is happening. Most children do not talk. You have to talk to them.
Traditional rulers, development partners, and caregivers joined the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyama.
You see all these foreign NGOs and so forth. So it's also extremely heartening to know that we have our own people and we can do these things for ourselves also. Nobody can love us more than we love ourselves.
Director General of NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, in a message said NTA and Roost Foundation share similar vision towards fighting the scourge of rape and gender violence in the society.
Stand against rape and rapists. We look forward to seeing her on our programs talking about this brainchild that she has.
Guests were conducted around various departments of the facility that will help in equipping rescued victims to start life afresh.
The perpetrators are in prison and the victims are left on their own. Together, programs and activities that will bring these children off the streets.
Also, of course, their well-being, their mental balance. I think this is very important.
The forum also advised potential victims to always be cautious in taking decisions to embark on illegal migration. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We'll go on a short break. More reports when we return. Do stay. Thanks for staying tuned. The Imo State Custodial Center came under attack in the early hours of today. The attackers, whose number cannot be readily ascertained, were said to have gained entry into the facility, which shares same fence with the Imo State Police Command and the government house, setting free all inmates and destroying parts of the facility. While it cannot be confirmed if there were loss of lives, the alleged hoodlums were said to have fired gunshots during the operation, which left some of the officers injured. Efforts to reach the public relations officer, Nigerian Correctional Service Imo State Command, is yet to yield results as he is not responding to calls. Oyo State's Governor Seyi Makinde says the state government will compensate victims of the fire incident of the tire section of Agodi's spare parts market in Ibadan. He gave this assurance during his visit to the scene of the fire incident, which consumed goods worth millions of naira Saturday morning. Correspondent Ayomiku Ajibola has the report.
Describing the fire outbreak as a fortunate and heartbreaking, Governor Seyi Makinde, who was accompanied by top government officials, told victims of the disaster who had converged on the market to possibly salvage remnants of their goods that the state government will assist them financially.
I've seen the extent of destruction, and I know how important this market is to the economy of Oyo State. The government will come to your aid. Is it time for us to move this market to a far more organized setting? And the only way for us to ensure that we don't witness anything like this again is for us to sit down and think of a solution that will endure.
He admonished shop owners and residents of the state to always apply precautions and safety measures within their environment. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
27 months since the 19th National Sports Festival ended in Abuja, the 20th edition is finally underway in Benin, the Edo State capital, after a series of postponements due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed reports that Governor Godwin Obaseki has received the touch of unity ahead of Tuesday's opening ceremony.
All right, the touch is coming. That's the festival touch for 2020.
With the touch of unity arriving Benin on Sunday, all facilities are ready for use at the Sam Ogumudia Stadium and other centers within Benin City, while athletes and their officials are camped in different accommodations across the Edo State capital.
We promise that we'll keep it alive and pass it on to the next generation.
Thank you so much. And the Deputy Governor and Chairman, Local Organizing Committee of the 20th National Sports Festival will now do a little run and then pass it.
With 635 gold, 635 silver, and 885 bronze medals up for grabs, both athletes and officials are in full spirit, hoping to make their states proud.
By God's grace, we are preparing, but I know with God, all things are possible. Preparation without grace is not well prepared. I'm prepared, but I know grace will speak for me.
So my target is actually to bring out the gold medal, because all day I've been grinding all day right here. Actually, I've been winning gold medals, so this is not the first time.
Well, my main target is winning the gold medal for singles and also the doubles. So since morning I've been practicing very hard.
My athletes are in good shape, high spirits, and we hope to go back home with a lot of medals.
While the local organizing committee is putting the final touches ahead of the official opening ceremony slated for tomorrow, Tuesday.
From Benin, Mahmoud Ibn Muhammad, NTA Sports.
Niger's president appoints former finance minister as country's new prime minister. Elsewhere, India's daily COVID-19 cases passes 100,000 mark. Oyeyemi Ajayi has details.
Nigeria's newly elected president Mohamed Bazoum has appointed former minister Ohomodu Mahamadou as prime minister to head his new cabinet. The 66-year-old Mahamadou had previously served as a minister in charge of finance and mining. He was the chief of staff to former president Muhammadu Isufu between 2015 and 2021. Now, elsewhere, India has reported a record rise in coronavirus infections, becoming only the second country after the United States to register more than 100,000 new cases in a day, as hospitals in its worst affected states are overrun by patients. The country's daily COVID-19 cases soared by 103,558 on Monday, the biggest such daily increase. Data from the Health Ministry showed that, taking the total to 12.6 million, the highest after the United States and Brazil.
You've been watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Another look at the top stories. Federal government seeks more funds to tackle insecurity in supplementary budget. In the spirit of Easter celebration, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo asked Nigerians to remain resilient in face of daunting challenges. And Edo State's governor receives touch of unity for Edo 2020 National Sports Festival as the festival officially takes off tomorrow.
More than ever before in our history, we need to come together at this time.
This is NTA News 24.
Plateau State's Governor Simon Bako Lalong has visited the residence of late Haruna Mitala, member representing Jos North Bassa Federal Constituency at the National Assembly, to commiserate with the family over the death of the lawmaker, his son and 2 aides in an auto crash. A statement by the Governor's Director of Press and Public Affairs, Dr. Makut Simon Macham, states that Governor Lalong, who was accompanied by the Deputy Governor, Professor Sonny Taidun, Secretary to the State Government, Professor Nladi Abok Atu, some members of his cabinet, and Emir of Wasi, Alhaji Muhammad Sambo Haruna, said the death of the late legislator, who was on his way to attend the wedding of one of his sons is not only tragic but painful. He, however, urged the family to accept the death in good faith and consider it as an act of God, saying the late lawmaker has done his best and all that remains is for those still living to continue his legacies of kindness, love and sacrifice. Emir of Wase Alhaji Muhammadu Sabo said the late Honorable Mitala was a lover of peace and a philanthropist who served his constituency and the state with passion. Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Idris Wase, was also at the residence to condole with the family. The family appreciated the visit and thanked the governor for according them such honor even when their late father was alive. Prayers were offered for the repose of the souls of the deceased. And that concludes the news desk at 10. Join us at 11 for the news updates. We thank you for watching. Do remember to join the NTA in the stand against rape and rapists. I am Ifoma Ojenta.